Recording. Okay, so great. Back again with our session 4, on the interview related conversation. So welcome everyone for participating. And I see a lot of conversation happening in our WhatsApp group. So that's good. I see the more and more case studies we can get. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to get so that we can probably start discussing it. Before we take your questions, so you can definitely add your questions in the chat and thumbs up the people's questions so that we can take them first. But I am sharing what I prepared as a part of our yesterday conversation in our WhatsApp group. So I do see many of you facing assignments and doing things where you need to do some kind of activity where you prepare a status report. Yeah, that seems to be a popular case study nowadays. So yes, you can present the case studies in many ways. There is no one way to do it. But from my side, I am exploring that if we can put a format ready and you just need to put the information as per the case study, your process could be faster. Yeah. So that is something you can do in the process. Now here I have prepared a one pager. Yeah, if you put it in a slide mode, it looks pretty nice. Yeah, that's what I feel. So here again, you can put other information, not necessarily you put the way I have put in, but I am thinking of putting the overall project health. Then you can talk about deliverables or upcoming deliverables. You can talk about timelines and milestones. You can add some more graphics to show timelines and milestones. You can talk about risk also can be having some emojis. So here I made a list of emojis which can be used. So maybe based on the type of terminology you follow, you show urgent risk or loss urgent risk in a little different manner. You can talk about dependencies, you can talk about issues, your stakeholder updates. You can add key metrics, says this section is blank. You can talk about upcoming action items. So this way, if you prepare the status of any case study you are getting, the good thing is in a one slide itself, you can talk about everything. You don't have to go next and forward and back. When you go forward and back, then it may make it difficult for a learner to see the whole picture in a one go, because you only talk about project health, then you go to risk, then you go to dependency, and the person might lose the information which was there in the previous slide. But when we have a one pager status or a one slide status, usually many of the organization has a mandate of preparing a one pager status only, then it is easy to talk about various aspects in a one go if you are presenting in the format of your interviews. So this slide is available in your WhatsApp group. You can edit it and I can share it further in case you have a difficulty. Now, some of you may think, oh, it's a small, how I'm going to edit it. You can zoom in. You can zoom in when you are editing. So you can do whatever you want. You can add more items as well. And this will not be that much difficult when you are editing it, provided you really zoom in. Yeah. And then once it is done, you can zoom back and it will be showing you the normal flow. Yeah. So this is the one pager slide which you can create. You can put more creativity. You can use some color combinations, but my recommendation is keep it ready for your assignments where you need to prepare a project status given based on a given situation. So the only thing which will be left when you are doing these kind of case studies is really extracting information out of the information which is given to you by the interviewer. But the formatting and displays and all those things are taken care because you are already prepared. Yeah. So this is something you can do. Now, if anyone has a query, questions based on what we
Yeah,
discussed,
I second.
please go ahead.
Yeah, in the project status you have mentioned now, can we go for the project status, the whole project? If it's a complex project, we can do this as a phase-wise status, or it's a
So
full
the
project.
usual assignment you see in a WhatsApp group is that you have a situation and you need to present the situation to the management in a 5 to 7 minutes time. Yeah, that's the kind of assignment we are talking about. Yeah,
Okay.
it is not a lesson learned report. It is not like what we did in the last phase. It is not a presentation about your performance till now. Yeah, it is about where we are. So status is always where we are and what is going to happen next. Yeah, that's instance. That instance is expected to be crisp, not necessarily the whole story. It's not a report of your project.
Okay. So it's even if it's a complex project also.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. So,
Okay.
depending upon the case study you see, now I'm not saying that it's a analytical report, it's a lesson learned report. We are talking about that if you see the information given to you as a project assignment and you need to make a project status out of it, you can use this particular
Okay.
presentation format. It's an alternative. Again, you can have a better ideas as well, but this is something to start with because we discussed in our WhatsApp group, people were finding plus minus related to that area. Good. So this is still here. Now we have okay. So we got a thing. Okay. So other than what is the various matrices reports? So matrices and report depends upon your case study. Yeah, so say if you are focusing on agile thing, then you probably need to talk about velocity trend or burn down chart. If the case study is talking about upcoming releases, then you need to present that area. Now, don't worry that it is going to be very small. You can put the matrices in this section. Yeah, this section can be extended also. But the whole idea is this is just a information given to you as a usage material. But here as per your case study or organization standard, you will put a matrices. So in case of waterfall projects, there could be budget KPIs, yeah, cost performance index, schedule performance index, upcoming milestone, payments related things may come as an action item. Defect matrices can also be there. If it's an agile related thing, achieving the sprint goals, yes, no, those kind of things can come. Trend of velocity, trend of defects, those kind of things you can show in a crisp manner, yeah, depending upon what is your case study there. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So WhatsApp group can be joined. Yeah, we will put it link here as well. And we also have our NAS community through which you can navigate to the WhatsApp group, but I will put the link in the chat as well. I see that one of you asking for WhatsApp group. Yeah. Now, in the meantime, if you have a question, please post in a chat section. I do see the question about technical project manager versus project manager. Incidentally, in all three episodes, we had that question. So I would recommend please check the recording of the last sessions as well, so that we can do an incremental conversation. But yes, in general, we need to see the job description as we discussed in the previous sessions. Whenever people usually talk about technical project management role, then they are expecting some amount of technical team leadership from that person rather than just pure project management. So that way you can say that, yeah, this is going to be a technical project manager space, which expects to be providing mentoring and coaching to the team members on a technology as well, rather than only focusing on process part of the working. Yeah, if that's the usual association. But yes, we need to see exact details as per the situation at hand. Yeah. So that's the another info. Okay, so please, you can update the presentation which I shared there, and you can put your own content and we can share it as we go along. And please fill the examples as well. You may put examples related to your project status. You may put an example related to your matrices, but that is something you probably want to see in your um, upcoming interviews. Yeah, so that's something you can follow. Great. I think that was the only thing based on our conversation in the past week. If anything else is coming in, then we can talk. Now, the question is coming, who represent this kind of status report in hybrid environment? Depends. Yeah. So we don't know. We don't know. Hybrid environment means what? That each environment is hybrid because we cannot run our project by somebody's book. Yeah. So somebody may write a book and say the project should be run in this particular manner. Your real project may not work as per that book. You need to have your own things. Now, in general, from a Scrum perspective, the iteration review presentation is coming from product owner, and iteration review data value matrices should be coming from product owner. So if you are focusing on Scrum way of working, then iteration presentation is led by the product owner. Yeah, that's a one info. But if you are focusing on the retrospective presentation, or if you are focusing on the post sprint review meeting or report sharing, then it could be a scrum master or it could be a project manager depending upon the context. Yeah. So, but if you call yourself project manager, then you definitely say that, I need to take care of communication and alignment. So by default, this is something you need to work upon if you are putting yourself as a project manager. In a PMP exam, we expect the project manager is taking responsibility of project performance sharing. Yeah, so that way, definitely project manager, but depends. Yeah, rest of the things, it may depend upon overall framework. Yeah. From the previous question, I can take a one clarification like what could be a waterfall matrices. Usually the waterfall matrices are primarily around what? Variances. So the whole essence of waterfall is adhering to the plan. You have a plan, you have done a baselining. Now, if you are not following that, you have a challenge. So if you are following waterfall way of working, schedule variance, cost variance is going to be important matrices. And you can also have some of the performance utilization related matrices like the resource performance, especially if you have very expensive resources, those could also like machines and all, then those could be your important matrices which you want to track in the waterfallish way of working. The quality matrices are usually relevant. Sometime in a waterfall work, they also track the number of changes, scope creep, like change request handled, amount of rework created. Those are the possible matrices you will do in the waterfallish project. Yeah. Possible matrices. Rest we need to see as per the case study if you are focusing on the interview in this particular conversation. Good. I think till now agenda is done. And if you have anything pending, put it in the chat. If anyone want to speak, please feel free to speak as well.
Hi, Sanket. Here, Guru Raj.
Good, please, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm attending first time on this session. Okay, I'm not part of that WhatsApp group.
No problem.
Could you please add me to that group?
Okay, that is something a chat message I put. You just follow that invite link. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
That I shared the WhatsApp invite link. Just follow that. Or if you follow our NAS community through that, also you can join the WhatsApp group. Yes.
Okay.
I put the NAS community link as well. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Both I will try.
Yeah.
Saket, this template are going to share on the group or it is already shared?
I shared it, yeah, after.
Okay, actually, I just not joined, so not
no
able
problem,
to see.
but I will put it again. I may put it to some public URL as well so that it can be easy for you to refer. Yeah, for anyone to refer. Yeah, we will see. I can put some public downloadable page as well. But immediately after the session, I will put it in the WhatsApp group only. And later on, we will figure it out how and where we share. Yeah, but we will share it.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Saket. I'm Nisha Verma. I have one question.
Please.
Like, what are the KPI a project manager or technical project manager should have?
Yeah, so that's a important question if it get asked in the interview. Yeah. So first thing is, if interviewer is asking what is your key competency as a project manager or technical project manager or whatever it is, they are trying to understand what do you really do and are you suitable for us? Yeah. So that question should be answered very, very carefully. Yeah, if it is getting asked in the interview. Now, how do I answer it? I need to make sure that my job description, which I put in my CV, and my profile, my project experience, which I put in my CV, and the job description which I have applied for. Yeah, they should be matching before I answer it. It's not a theoretical question. It's a question which is coming from my CV and from a job description, and I need to emphasize on the things which are overlapped. Yeah, so that way I need to answer it. Now, in general, very hypothetically, I'm sharing some of the ideas, but you need to have a specific idea based on your experience and the job description for which you are applying for. In general, the facilitation is definitely helping the team. So what is the role of a leader, be it a scrum master, project manager? I need to take care of my team. So that's anyway competency. So I work with my team, I mentor them, I coach them, I develop them, I provide them one-on-one feedback, I resolve their conflicts, I ensure they become high performing, I help them to come up with their teaming agreement. That's a usual focus. Any leader should be focusing on the team. So I need to come up with those competency very clearly. The another section is once you take care of the team, then you focus on stakeholders. Now, usually, as the project management role becomes more and more complex, you start focusing on the stakeholders. So, working with the stakeholder, communicating with them, sending them a weekly status reports, engaging them, taking care of their feedbacks, that kind of competency will also come very often. Once the people are taken care, the team and the stakeholder, then you focus on process part of it. So as a leader, you probably will be following process like Scrum, Kanban, Waterfall. So you demonstrate that I make sure the teams are clear where the information is, what do they do next. I take care of matrices. I have a clear understanding of documents. Everyone can access whatever is available. So process related excellence I have to demonstrate. Now these three are taken care. Then I probably focus on little bit understanding of business domain. And if it comes to technology, then I demonstrate my technical skills, how some of the problem solving I do, how probably I do architectural refinement, how possibly I get involved in deployment related activities, how I work with the external stakeholder on a technology space, how do I collaborate with the architect, or I am doing architecturing of my project. If it is relevant, asked in the job description, available in your CV, then you talk about that. Yeah. So we don't have a universal description of a project manager, but we do understand project management role is associated with people. Some amount of association might be there with technology, depends. Always associated with process, risk, issues, all those kind of things, cost, timelines, process is always there. Good amount of association can come from a business domain as well. And that's what you learn when you study about project management in general, as well as you do in your jobs.
Saket, what do you mean by like business domain, understanding of business domain? Can you please elaborate on
For
this?
example, I work in insurance sector. I understand what are the insurance compliances are. I have been having understanding of claim process. That's a business domain. Yeah.
Okay.
If you talk about retail banking, so depending upon which area you have worked upon, you demonstrate that I can speak that language. That's a business domain.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. So we had a question which we were discussing last time as well. How all projects should be mentioned in the each company experience in detail. I think we explored and we were recommending that you may have a master CV, but you need to focus on a given requirement, and you probably only want to highlight few projects which makes your case strong for a given job. Yeah. So not too much, not too many. Anyway, your LinkedIn profile should have everything. Your LinkedIn profile is far elaborated. If your recruiter is interested in you, especially if you are 15 plus years of experience, most likely they will go to your LinkedIn profile if they are interested, seriously interested in you, because sending CV is a probable way of filtering people if you are 10 years less experienced. But after that, they may be focusing on very other inputs other than your CV alone. So you need to make sure that your LinkedIn has far better presence and explanation related to all your work you have done. And for a given job, you probably select some of the CVs and you keep the other things open that, okay, other project details can be shared whenever needed. Yeah, that's a usual thing we see. But again, no hard and fast rule. There are many organizations which tells you to fill the CV in their format. They will say, we only talk to the people once you fill this form. So maybe they see your CV and after that they will send you their own format where you need to fill in. So depends. Yeah, but yes, in a first attempt, I may only want to talk few of them, not too many, not too less. Yeah. Okay, we have a question. Does Kanban also includes all the events similar to Scrum? All the 5 events similar to Scrum? We don't know. Yeah. So first thing is 5 events or 4 events. That also depends upon which book you are reading. Yeah, but in a Kanban way of working, you can prepare your own, I would say that event list. You may follow all Scrum events. Sometimes people, when they follow all Scrum events along with Kanban, they call it Scrumban. But in a safe way of working, if you are following safe Scrum, we follow Kanban and all 5 events possible. Yeah, so that way we are there. So is the technical project manager different from project manager? I think we discussed it, but again, I can explain. So it depends upon the job description. Whenever the technical project manager role usually get mentioned, they may expect you doing coding and technical mentoring of the team members, which are getting led by you other than doing other project management along with the other project management activity usually. So if you see that's the case, then you are getting into technical project management. So technical project management word is usually associated with team leadership plus project management. Technical team leadership plus project management, that's a usual description you see on the job sites. Yeah, usual. Again, we can't say that it will be always the same case. We need to study the job description carefully. Someone wanna speak? Good. So in general, I would like my request is be more contributive to the content which we have in a WhatsApp group. I know some of the people are sharing the problems as a case study, but not many are contributing as a solution of the case study. So if you have done in the past, if you have some colleague has done it, put some content, yeah, so that you also contribute. And probably when you try it yourself, solving a particular problem, that will help you in learning as well. So see as much you can because contribution will be helpful. If I see like I'm just scrolling, if there is any pending question, else we are more or less done for today's agenda. Good. So I think we are done for today's question. From my side, I only prepared one thing, which I was talking about the sharing of the status. And if you are something here, yeah. So if the interview is based on technical project management, is it necessary to do safe? So see, scaled agile framework is something different. Yeah. So scaled agile framework is a special way of doing agile, which involves multiple agile team working together for a common goal. It has a higher level team, which is called agile release train, which is a collection of agile teams. And then you have a group of agile teams which are delivering things on their own as well as they are integrating with others. Now, if you are going for an interview where organization is using safe, or if you want to demonstrate your experience in a safe environment, be it a scrum master or product owner, then you better have a safe skills. Most likely they will request you to have a certification of safe. Yeah, that is something is usually requested. But if you are not targeting an organization or if you are not planning to demonstrate your safe expertise, then safe certifications are not needed. Yeah. So you need to see what kind of jobs you are getting, what kind of demands you are getting based on your existing experience. Because say earning certificate is a one thing, but your existing experience also plays a role when you are finding the next job. So if I don't have that well integration, then I can find a difficulty. So I need to see that matching. Yeah. Now we have a question. Should we be always prepared with the recent PMBOK version? I did PMP in 2018. Not necessary. PMBOK is just a project management standard. You need to be updated what is getting used in the current environment. Yeah, that's the idea. Not necessary you follow the style of PMBOK way of looking at a project management. Yeah, and even for PMP preparation, PMBOK is just a one possible source. It doesn't cover the content which is needed as per the exam content outline. So knowing the latest buzz of the project management is important, and that can be learned with the help of, yes, relooking at a PMBOK when it comes new. That's a good idea in general. Also looking at various communities like these where we keep listening what people are using, and that way we build our project management skills. Not necessarily we just read the PMBOK file. Yeah. So that was the another query which came. So hopefully safe is taken care. Yeah. Yeah, but if you have been doing agile for a while and if you position yourself as a scrum master or a product owner, that it is usually recommended to do safe, usually because there is a possibility that next job you are targeting, maybe the organization is using safe, maybe. Yeah? And if they are, then they will be asking for it. Now, the another question is coming. That is something I can ask the group, yeah, if they have an answer. So we have a question is asking, when you get a case study in your interviews, do you need to do it on your laptop and do you need to do it on the spot, or do you need to do it after an hour or a day? We do know that at a WhatsApp group, one person shared that they gave 1 day to that person to finish the case study. But anyone want to speak to answer this particular question, that in general, how much time you get from the interviewer to do a case study when you get a specific example of preparing something? Anyone having experience can please speak up and share. Anyone can go ahead if you have been through some interviews and you want to share. No? Okay. So we just go with the WhatsApp group answer only. Yeah, please. Yeah.
We had been asked for a case study, but they didn't ask me to exactly write it. What they said is, can you say it in your own words? What was the process? How would you initiate this process altogether? Like, you can take 5 minutes, think about it, start with the initiations and the plannings, and then put it across. Like, how you then, once I started telling, okay, these will be mostly my stakeholder if I analyze the business and all. Well, I just gave them few lists, like say the network leader and facilities, like that. And then once I said, then related questions started coming from their end itself, like this is how it will be, and some probable risk. So I exactly, we cannot say the risk by seeing it, but yes, some probability of risk. Like one of my projects, when I was explaining related to service now, I said there could be a scalability issue in this particular, where I'm or there's automation of assignment. There can be a scalability issue of availability of engineers, or like that. And then the probable questions again started coming into do the process.
Great, thank you. Yeah, anyone else want to share? So, like in her experience, it was not something which she has to make on a presentation. They just wanted to hear the story, and based on the story, they evaluated her response. Yeah. Good. I have a question coming in the chat, and I want someone to contribute here first. So, how to manage stakeholders who come up with in the mid of the sprint with the new requirements on urgent basis and wants the same to be considered for the current sprint anyhow, and also not want any other existing story to be moved out? Yeah. So, how do you answer if this question get asked to you in the interview? You can read in the chat in case you are not getting it. Yeah, but that was the question. Mira, you want to speak? Go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
Yes, so I just want to share my experience when it comes to requirements brought in the middle of a sprint or when the sprint has already started. So what really happens if we are working, if actually it's an agile environment, it's normal that requirements change at any time when the sprint is going on. So what I usually do is I'll need to have a conversation with the product owner to know how urgent these requirements that are rising are important. And if we find that they are important, they have to be delivered as soon as possible. So I will try to negotiate with the team to see if they have that capacity to accommodate these requirements at that point in time. Or I will negotiate equally with the product owner to see if we can work on this in the next iteration, in the next sprint. And if that not being the case, I'll always request for an extra resource from a different team if they can step in. And if that equally doesn't work, what we do is we'll have to shuffle stories, and also we'll pull some stories from the backlog from that current active sprint, and we fit in that requirement at that point in time.
Perfect. Yeah. So
So
multiple.
that is how I have handled
What I
this
see here is
situation.
that good thing that you are not following what interviewer is asking, rather you are telling that what you do in general. Yeah. Because say if you just tell a one particular solution to an interviewer, then it could be a more loop. But taking it as a case study approach, now we can evaluate what are the good ideas and what are not a little risky idea. But the first good idea is this is how we do. Yeah. That's how it is. It's a good way to explain. Okay. We have two more people who want to participate. Go ahead, Ashmita.
Saket, this question is very common in interviews actually. It's what I have done, and that is what I answer. First, anytime we get such requirements from a stakeholder or from the product owner, we first analyze if that is related to the sprint and how is it going to impact my sprint goal or the overall goal, and what kind of and how many dependencies. After analyzing the dependencies, we have a word and how much we can accommodate. If it is a part of the story we can accommodate, or if it is the whole story we can accommodate. Also, to as a uh, proactive, what I normally do is, in case such things happen during retros, I do have a word with the product owner and try to have a product backlog refinement.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. Shivani, you want to answer something? Yeah.
Yes, Saket, here I want to add we need to also see that this is not a repeated habit, that a stakeholder is doing this every time. So we need to make sure if this is something which is happening again and again, then we need to kind of make them understand, if we are following agile practices, that how it can impact the work and also the quality that we'll be getting by the end of the sprint, and the pressure that the team members might face during the sprint, because this is something which is happening time and again. So we need to have a discussion with the stakeholder on this. Other than that, if it's a one time, it is fine. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So multiple perspectives, and I says that there is so we don't have to answer the question from the book. We can answer the book from various sources, the way we have done it here. Now, when we are answering, it should match with our experience. That's the most important part of it. Better we give a example that in one of my project, this was a repetitive habit. Then I took it to a retrospective meeting and we figured it out in this particular manner. In one of the case, it was a one of the special situation. We adjusted our thing. So we bring all those examples to handle this particular query. And as like one of you said, that it's a pretty common question which you get in your interviews. Now, from a theory perspective, few things which has to be very clearly understood. Scrum never says that you cannot change anything during the sprint. It just says don't change the sprint goals. Yeah. So until unless, now it all depends how do you write your goal. Your goal could be maybe you are doing 5 things, but your goal could be just doing one thing. Yeah. So if you have a goal which is not covering all the work which you are planning to do in a given iteration or a given sprint, then Scrum is saying perfectly okay. Yeah, that's the idea. There could be a goal of supporting the ongoing production and ongoing deployment as well. So then those things can be evolving. The another thing which we need to keep in mind, the user stories are always negotiable. So if someone wants to add acceptance criteria to user story or something else, it is negotiable provided the team and the product owner both understand it is not impacting the sprint goal. But it's negotiable, not necessarily you always do or you don't do. Yeah. And the third thing is it's all about collaboration. If people say you have to do it, I don't care, you need to do whatever it takes, I want everything to be done, then and if I get trapped in that, then I am not working in the right environment. Yeah. So the whole essence of collaboration and working together and understanding each other's problem. If someone is saying that in my company, in my team, nobody listens to each other and the stakeholder keep pushing the team and teams keep saying no, then there is a collaboration issue. Whatever agile, not agile, that's a separate thing. So when we do an impact analysis, when we talk about it, as the Shivani was talking about, ultimately we need to focus on collaboratively impact analysis, economic decision making, what should be done, what should not be done. It's not like my thing or the product owner thing or the stakeholder thing, whatever best as a team we decide we do. Yeah. So I should always focus on that. If the stakeholder says no, people are not listening, then I have not faced a situation where stakeholders and teams are so hostile to each other. Yeah, we usually don't have such kind of hostile stakeholder because we engage with them very well. We show them what we are doing. We take care of their needs and expectation. So I have not yet handled any hostile oriented approaches. We usually go in the collaborative manner. Yeah. So that way probably you can find your answer, but should match with your experience and your project which you are talking in your interview. Yeah. Thank you. So for all of you who contributed, I think it's a great idea. And yeah.
Saket, I have one question. Yes. So I was asked one question that if you have joined a new team and the team members who are working on that project are working from a long time, like 2 to 3 years. So they are not adopting this Scrum process or Agile. Then how you are going to make them understand the importance from long back? Like it's becoming very hard to kind of ask them to be available on the Scrum calls or to attend the reviews or retrospective. So how you can make them like understandable on this?
So anyone? Yeah, let's do that again. So this is the same question if comes to you. The whole idea is contribution here, because when we get little experience oriented answer, you end up creating a better answer than you hear from me, which may look little idealistic answer. Okay, anyone want to contribute here? So simple situation is you join as a Scrum Master, a new project team or new Scrum existing project team, not a new thing, existing project team which has their own processes, something which can be called ad hoc, waterfall, whatever you want to call it, and they are not interested in your process. How do you convince them and probably make them little following the process? I hope that's the question.
Hi, Saket. I will give points over here. Please correct me. It happened in our organization where we were operating on a V model and we used to send a weekly status report, and then we went to daily evening status report. So most of the emails they were in redundant nature, and not, a stakeholder was not able to understand what exactly happening, and if there was any issue, how the progress was going about, stakeholders were not sure. So considering that situation, being a Scrum Master, I explained clearly by following agile methodologies how we can help each ourselves, one team member to team member, as a team, how we can help each ourselves. Suppose I got stuck with one issue where I could not able to express as a part of agile or Scrum meeting, simply sending out an email or here I'm stucking and all won't be really helpful. Definitely, if we have a common platform where we can share our experiences or hiccups, what we are facing in the current project or module where we are, some other team member who is having very good experience, or the person might have already experienced that kind of issue, it would be a cakewalk for any team member. So it's like a hand in hand, and also uh, considering the team building activity also, really that gives a very good team bondage will help. Suppose I got stuck with some problem, I could not able to resolve that issue on my own since last 2 or 3 days. If another team member who earlier faced that issue and he could able to give a kind of pointer or a solution to my problem where I could be able to resolve within half an hour, definitely it helps the team bonding, right? So I will explain this kind of scenario to the team so that it's not like it's a mandatory or we are forcing or inculcating this process, or we are pressing them to follow. It is each and everyone, it's a give and take, and end of the case it will ease our lives
Perfect.
to each other.
Good, thank you. Yeah, so I think the great point which we see in this answer is it is not starting directly to convince people. It is starting with a problem in a given situation. Yeah, so it's always a good idea to say that I want to understand what kind of problem they are facing. So the Rajeshwar point was the problem was transparency was missing, miscommunication, escalations. Yeah, so that was a problem. Now you have a problem. It is you are suffering because of that problem. Yes, I am suffering. Now what you should do? Now, is there any way of working which can resolve your problem? I'm not saying that you need to follow Scrum. I'm saying that there is a one particular way which can help you in resolving the problem, and management is also liking that way. We can figure it out. Let's try it out. Yeah. So that way, I came up with a solution to a problem, and then I showed my team how that solution is really important for them, and that's how we started getting some adaptation. Yeah. So that's a good example. If we have such kind of experiences, you can do it. But even if you are saying that I have never done it before, even you are focusing on interview, I think it's usually a good idea to start from how do we add value to someone rather than you say we need to follow Scrum, we need to follow Scrum. So you are saying I am here to solve your problem with the help of a one process, and we can customize the process by way of doing retrospective as and when needed. Yeah. Anyone wanna add follow-up thing here? Good. Yeah.
I think probably you can add any if I missed anything, Saket.
Yeah, that's it's a nice way of saying. So identifying various problems of people going late to home, people are end up doing rework, too much time is going in defect fixing, they work on like partially refined requirement, and when they finish something, the stakeholders are escalating all the time. So these are the possible problems you see, yeah, in any space. So you can say, okay, these are the problems. So I will do a problem analysis of the organization or that particular team. And I will look for, do they really want to solve that problem? Not from a perspective of management. Now, if you say that management wants you to follow Scrum and that's why you need to follow Scrum, I may face a resistance. We can say, okay, what is in for us? Yeah. Whereas I tell, you are suffering because of this, you are suffering because of doing rework, you are suffering because of escalation, you end up spending more time in doing meetings and explanation, creating documents. Maybe you want to do more creative and productive work, and we have a way of doing it. Let's try it out. So that way we can do it. Another way which I have done sometime is to overcome the resistance, to also sell the idea that guys, if you follow Scrum, you are in a demand in the market because everyone is using it. If you go for an interview and you say I work in a V model or I work in this, you will not get a job, guy. So probably you better learn how do we then modern organizations and modern teams are working. It is not only good for the organization, it is good for your CV as well. And I have done that sometime indirectly, and that also motivates people. Yeah, this is something which is in buzz. Yes, it is in buzz, and I better get it. Yeah, especially when I go for safe education and safe consulting, I throw this idea because say, guys, it will look complicated, but if you get it, your organization is giving you an opportunity, you will be in demand in the market, so do it. Yeah, so people get excited usually. But you may not want to say that in the interview. Yeah. Maybe you don't want to say that in the interview, but that's another thing you end up doing on a regular basis. Yeah. Okay, I think something is coming in. Yeah. So if I am the project manager joined in the mid of the complex project, do I want to have a formal meeting with all the stakeholders involved? Yeah. So let's put it in the format of an interview question, that there is a complex project going on and you join it in the mid of it because the last project manager has left and you are a new project manager. What are the 3 activities you will do in the initial week? Yeah, or maybe you can talk about the first 3 days or first 7 days. What are your top 5 or 3 activities you will do? Yeah, let me convert that as a question for interview. We need a contributor now.
So, in this problem, first of all, I will get into the project and try to, study the documents if there is any, available. Then I try to understand who are the stakeholders, basically, to whom the product is being developed. And then that I will try to interact with the team, whosoever is developing, and what kind of product they are developing. And then gradually, if there is any product owner, I will also try to understand what kind of relationship he is having with the client, and if there is any issue and all. So accordingly, I will prepare myself to deal with the future impediments or anything coming in my way. And then yeah. And then I will do some study from my end as well, like about dealing with them, and then start contributing to the project accordingly.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. Great. Anyone else want to contribute? So I think the second answer was great. Yeah, it is good thing. So what I liked basically about is that you focus on, I want to know, I want to study, I don't want to jump to anything. Yeah. So before you act, you need to do the homework. Yeah. It is usually appreciated that you do homework. So how do you do homework? You just study whatever is available. So there could be project contract, there could be last project status report, there could be escalation, there could be anything. So I'll just study as much I can that, okay, this is what is happening. Yeah. Then you start observing your team, you observing your stakeholders. And yes, I need to do the stakeholder engagement. So I need to understand who are the important player. When I study that, it's always a good idea. And then as per your communication protocol, as per the availability of those people, you see the context and then you start working with them. Yeah. It is not like everyone is willing to talk to you all the time. You may have a process, you may have an upcoming meeting, but you will definitely do stakeholder engagement. That's there. You will do team engagement as well. You will make sure that you start gelling with the team, you understand their ways of working, you understand how things works here, and then what kind of processes they are using, study the board, study the data, and then look for contribution. How can I contribute? How can I solve some problems? And that's how I make my path forward. Yeah. Great. Anything else anyone want to add here? Okay, so I think great ideas coming in, and we explored many topics, and we also made a little bit of asynchronous learning in the last 1 week, which is my usual request. Yeah, so let's continue talking on the groups or in the NAS community. So that was a good idea. And yes, so we at least spoke about some of the case studies and the status report kind of a template we developed together. If you have other templates, I'm not saying better or less better. If you have other template which may be suitable for someone else, start contributing the content. Yeah, so that as a group we can probably make some sense out of it. Yeah. So if I want to manage multiple projects, is there any deadline to understand all those documents? You need to work with your stakeholder, working agreement. Yeah. So we can't just blankly say something. Whenever you join your, so see, one of the key job of any leader, you call it project manager, business analyst, is whenever we work with people is expectation management. Yeah. So I need to manage my expectation from me as well. If I'm joining somewhere, people may expect magic happening from tomorrow. Yeah. And even if I might do my best thing, their expectation might be far, far more than what I am doing. And they will be always dissatisfied from me. So when I am getting into any situation, new project, problem solving, I need to set the right expectation. Okay, I need to estimate, I need to talk about how long it can take, what could be my future plan. And depending upon my expertise, the situation at hand, I need to set the timelines. Yeah. So when you are joining a new project or you have a new stakeholder joining you, whichever case, you need to first start with managing the expectation. Yeah. And this is a regular job. It's not a one-time thing. And only by managing expectation, you can meet expectation. Else you will never satisfy people. People will say, this guy is not doing anything for me because we were not setting the right expectation. Yeah. So key of managing stakeholder engagement and relationship with stakeholder is managing expectations. Yeah. And before manage expectation, you need to set the expectation. So setting the expectation and managing them is something you do all the time. Yes, you hear these words in your PMP preparation as well, but in a real world, you need to do it. Yeah, it is the PMP is very shallow content only. It means to say, okay, you understand these words, but on a day-to-day basis, you need to navigate as you face it. Yeah, there is no script available to you.
Sakis, I have a question I wanted to ask you. In Scrum, Agile Scrum, we have something called capacity planning, velocity planning. And even in project management, we have the task allocation, RACI matrix, various other methodologies to allocate the task for the resources. but still being the person who is holding the leadership role, particularly into the project management or program management or portfolio management, still the Indian CEOs want us to work for 90 plus hours and expecting the associates also to work, they extending the working hours. So are we exploited, particularly in Indian work industry?
Depends what you want to do. So I say, I know it's a good topic. Everybody may want to contribute, but I'm not letting people contribute here because say this is something like it may get converted into we start feeling victimized and everything is happening against us. So see, I need to take ownership of my problem. If I don't like working in a place, I don't work. Yeah. If I don't want to work for any company, I don't work. I may start my own company. But I understand there is a game which is going on. I may want to join that game, then I need to play with the rule of that game. If I don't like that game, I change my game. Yeah. So if you are stuck in a place and you want to continue playing that, you need to find how do you manage that game. If you don't like it, you probably up your game, prepare well, and look for other places where you probably don't have the previous kind of game getting played. You may want to do a different level. So we take ownership, we find our ways, we manage expectation, and if we are in a given situation, we manage as much we can and we know when to exit. You do see such kind of organization, usually high talent has an exit rate as well. Yeah. So in those companies, the high talented people will not stay for long. The people who are stuck, they are unable to exit from the game, they are stuck. Yeah. So good people will anyway leave. Yeah. So you need to better find a place to exit from those kind of environment rather than getting stuck. Talking about it, worrying about it is not going to solve any problem. We need to find our way out of it.
Saket, can I add my point?
Please. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, considering my experience in IT world, so it is really a surprise for me from a senior leadership team, especially from a senior, very, very senior leadership from CEOs and chairmen, coming out of statements saying like, you need to work 70 hours, you need to work 90 hours per week, how long you are going to look out your spouse face and all. These are all actually nonsensical statements, I can say. I think seriously they need to consult some psychiatric person. By I'm saying means I mean it actually.
Great. Thank you.
Infosys. No, I mean it. I will tell actually where the gap here is. They are under tremendous pressure actually, because they are under tremendous pressure, and as the world is transforming like anything. Earlier, if you learn a new technology, suppose a Java guy who learns a Java and basic Java and advanced Java, that guy could have survived at least 4 to 5 years earlier. But nowadays, every day one new tool is coming in, and stakeholders or clients are expecting, are you aware of this tool? And are you competent with this one? So because of this tremendous pressure, they are slipping their tongue with this one. But I will take it on a positive note. Because in same this Narayan Murthy, on his word, actually, I joined actually earlier. I saw one of the articles in a Telugu paper where I could read at during my 10th class, which inspired me to join Infosys. At that point of time, I was like becoming a software engineer only because of I will join only in Infosys.
Okay.
For one day, that is enough for me. So that was the mindset which made me to join Infosys, and thank God I worked for around 7 years. Okay, coming to point, earlier what Narayana Murthy was saying, one good statement actually during our quarterly town halls and all. Infosys is everything when during our daytime, and Infosys is nothing when all our techies and software engineers left home. So such an incredible statement. That means employees are everything. They are assets. So that really motivates even a normal standard employee also gets motivated, and that person will put in some extra effort to make himself updated, and he will give his best to the organization.
Okay, great.
So the way putting style, right? The same person now is saying like, we need to work hard, we need to put 70 hours. So no, especially younger generation, I'm saying no one will like it. If you press on something, you will never get it. Instead of pressing like that, you should say like that, some goal based what I'm saying is, sorry, I'm extending this one. Goal-based mindset is required
Yeah,
here.
so perfect. Yeah, that I agree. Let's
With
just
your help, we are growing. It's like we as a mindset is which is missing over here. It's like
perfect.
you
Yeah.
to
So
work.
now I just try to remind in a simple word that whenever we are doing social media conversation, LinkedIn and all, in general, my request is, and I feel that is more positive, not to get involved in these kind of conversations. Yeah.
Yes.
You always focus on what you can do rather than criticizing anyone. Because see, I am, for example, me, I can sit here and keep criticizing anyone, but I am not in that job. I am not a news anchor. I am not a preacher. I am here to help people to get a project manager job. That's it. Yeah. So my time, my energy should be going into, okay, this is something or this is not something. Now I take this opportunity, which question came in, to remind two facts again. We look for our path. We do what we can do. Yeah, we find our path. Second, we better stay away on a social media to preach something on this matter, because we don't know, maybe some HR will be reviewing our CV, and there is a possibility of disadvantage in getting into any kind of political conversation, any kind of idealistic conversation, but there is no possible advantage. Yeah, there are possible disadvantages. I won't say that disadvantages will always come, but there are possible disadvantages. But there is no advantage is going to come. Yeah, unnecessarily you may have, your time may get spent. Yeah, you may be busy for a while. So my general request is for LinkedIn and social media, stay away from such kind of conversation, and we find our own way. Yes, people are having their own problems, they have own challenges, they have their own life, but I need to find and fix my life. Yeah, so I focus on myself. It may look very pure selfish, and that is something we should do. Yeah, at least on social media. And in my thought process also, I should not be worrying about those things. I said, what I need to do? Yeah, I want to open my company, I open it. Yeah, why should I criticize something? I have to find a way. Good. Yeah. So again, my perspective, I know many people are spending time on social media doing this activity only, but I personally feel they may not get any advantage for recruitment purpose for this, which we are sitting here. Possible disadvantages can come. Yeah.
Yeah, even senior leadership also should make sensible comments. So we are living in a world where if you say something, it will go in thousand ways. So especially they should take extra cautious way. They should put in proper statement.
Yeah. And what if they don't do it? They will face their own consequences.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's it. So we don't have to worry about. So they face their own consequences, and they will have their own life problem. We better focus on what we do, because everyone making something is finding their own responses on company issues, on stock market down, on negative publicity, all branding image problem. That's happening. Yeah, I don't have to worry about it. Somebody made a comment on the talent show. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't care as a because I am not in that business. If I am also a YouTuber, then I better do this all only. Yeah, if I just want to attract people and make such statement, then I may make a 1 hour podcast on what Narayan Murthy said. Yeah, that could be a good business for someone, but not for us, I guess. Good. Yeah. So please choose your battles, as we got a nice comment. Yeah. And we need to be purely selfish. We need to focus on how do we move out of our situation. We put our total energy in finding our path, not to feel victimized. Yeah, this is something our whole things. Yeah, that's the thing. We need to find our own solution. I am here to play my game, and whatever the crisis is happening, I will find my path. Yeah, I have a confidence in finding my path. Even if there is a one job and there are 20 people looking for that job, I will get that job. Yeah, I am focusing on getting that job myself. That's the mindset we should focus on, rather than worried about, oh, there is only one job for the 20 people. There is a one and I just need one. I don't need 20. I just need a one. I will get it. And that's it. So that kind of mindset will help us. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So little bit philosophical conversation, thanks to Noor. Yeah, but I think let us forget about that, and maybe let's continue talking at our NAS community. Anything else before we conclude? Before we conclude this last philosophical segment, maybe. Good. Now, this is also important sometime as a project manager. when you may have a situation where team member coming up and complaining about management, team member coming about and doing all this. So we need to also learn an art of doing intelligent conversation. Sometimes we call it crucial conversations, yeah, or difficult conversation, because ultimately we are dealing with people. Yeah, so whatever discussion we had at the end, these kind of conversation can happen. Yeah, in your day-to-day work also, maybe the issues are not that big, maybe not that political, and we need to learn how to drive them towards the positive side, constructive side, action oriented side. When two people are talking, if I'm making action for CEO, it's not going to work. If I'm making a action, someone is complaining about it and we are making action item for a prime minister or president or the CEO of anyone, we are wasting time. They are not going to listen to us and take action from us. We need to focus on what I have to do, what you have to do. Is there anything both of us can do? Yes, do it. Else, move forward. Yeah. So that is something as a skill we need to also apply in our project management job. I guess, yeah, that will be helpful. Good. So we conclude. Our 1 hour is over, and we'll catch you again in the next week, most likely Thursday. Let me schedule it out similarly. Thursday is today's day. Yeah, most likely we'll do it on Thursday. Friday, I have something. So yeah, thank you everyone for your active participation, and continue talking on the NAS community as well as on WhatsApp groups. Yeah.
Thanks.
Everyone, thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you, sir.
contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.